It's really a shame that one of the greatest moments of Will Smith's career was tainted by his actions, but I'll talk about that afterwards. King Richard is honestly a movie that I completely forgot about, and the only reason I even remembered is because Will Smith won an Oscar for it and because of his actions at the Oscars. And it's now on HBO Max, so I took the opportunity to watch it. So if you haven't watched it, check it out on HBO Max. It's on there right now. Now, I don't follow tennis, I don't know much about it, but there's not many people like that I know of that haven't heard the names Serena and Venus Williams. However, the film isn't as much about them as it is their father, Richard Williams. And I'm not really sure of the accuracy of this film. I don't know how much was changed for dramatic purposes, but the story is very, very inspiring. Richard Williams and his wife and his kids, like, they came from nothing. There were, if I'm not mistaken, 5 children, like his 5 daughters, in one bedroom. And he didn't have money, so he just went around taking whatever he could, lessons from wherever he could, and he picked up tennis balls. Like when people were playing tennis, he'd just walk around, trash can, floor, wherever. If he saw a tennis ball that was used and people weren't going to use again, pick it up and use that. Also going around essentially trying to procure a sponsor for his daughter so that they had money and resources to get better and have a clear path towards the championships. And he got rejected a lot, but to be honest, his sales pitch was completely unrealistic. I mean, fortunately, he was helped. His daughters did like procure like resources and coaching, etc., because that was very unrealistic, that whole entire plan. But he was doing all this while also holding down a job, and his wife, if I remember correctly, she had 2 jobs, so they were dedicated. And on top of that, the girls were all good students. So yeah, it was a very inspiring story about like this guy that just comes from nothing. And what he did, a lot of people don't have the courage to do, to go around asking people for handouts, asking people for money for your daughters. Most people would not do that. They just get a job and just try to save money, or just say, you know what, this is stupid, we're not doing this, we can't afford this, work towards something else. And he wasn't accepting that. I mean, fortunately somebody did take him in, because like I said, it was very unrealistic, but he was very persistent and he was a planner. Very unrealistic and improbable, but I mean, you gotta respect the hustle. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Carroll Shelby was also the same way. I read or heard that he was also a guy that didn't really have money, but he was a smooth talker. He knew how to talk to everybody, specific people, on how to get what he wants to do whatever project he was working on. And Carroll Shelby contributed heavily to like the racing world and the car industry, so I mean, even if it's not probable, you gotta respect the hustle. The only real negative thing I have to say about this film is that, like, at times it did feel like a bit of a drag. I mean, fortunately, like, Will Smith's performance was just incredible, and he just carried the film on his shoulders with his like incredible Oscar-worthy performance. But at times it did feel like a bit of a drag. But I mean, other than that, it was a great film. I enjoyed watching it. I'm not entirely sure about its rewatch value. One of those movies that every line to, and you've watched multiple times, but you just keep on watching it anyway. Like The Blind Side. I've watched The Blind Side like 10 times, and I enjoyed every single time. Honestly, I like The Blind Side way better than this one. Not necessarily because the acting is better. I think Will Smith's performance is way better than Sandra Bullock's performance in The Blind Side.
Don't you dare lie to me.
But I don't know. Maybe it's because I can relate to it better. I'm not entirely sure, but I like The Blind Side more than King Richard. Nonetheless, it was a great film. The movie had a lot of themes and a lot of lessons, and it was pretty transparent, like the lessons that was being taught at that particular time. And I sometimes don't like things to be that way, but it really depends on the film. Like, not every single film is gonna be like a non-linear film. But yeah, I loved it. It wasn't like my favorite film or anything, but I liked it. And Will Smith's performance was very powerful. Like the scene where he was talking to, was it Venus? Yeah, he was talking to Venus about her desire to turn pro and compete for a championship, and he delivered. It was just so convincing. Like, his entire performance was so convincing, and he was definitely worthy of an Oscar. But like I said, his actions completely tainted that moment where he won an Oscar, because I didn't even know the Oscars were on. I mean, I knew they happened every single year, but I didn't know on that particular night they took place until I heard about that slap. And though I'm very glad that Will Smith won, I'm not entirely sure about Benedict Cumberbatch. I have to check his movie out, because apparently he was nominated for an Academy Award too. But I'm glad he won. He delivered a very, very powerful performance, a very convincing performance. But for the rest of his career, you cannot mention the Academy Award he won for his performance in King Richard without talking or mentioning or thinking about his actions at the 2022 Oscars. Now, I've seen some people try to defend him in that, you know, he's a man and someone insulted his wife and that's exactly how a man should react. No, there is a time and place for everything, especially when you're a public figure and celebrity and you're on stage for one of the biggest events in the film industry of the year. Like, that was not the time and place to take care of that. He could have taken it backstage, he could have talked to him at a later time, and basically carried himself like an adult, because that was a very childish thing to do. Now, if it were along the lines of Chris Rock, like mentioning that he wants next with Jada, like, no, given that they have an open relationship and whatnot, if he made a joke about that, something very inappropriate, or something about his daughter or whatever, if he made some remarks about that, I could understand it more. I mean, it doesn't justify you smacking him in public like that, because I mean, there are consequences like to striking somebody else, but I would understand it a lot more if Chris Rock made remarks of that nature to Will Smith or just to the public, and then Will Smith got upset. But he got upset over a very like a joke that wasn't even that bad. Like he said, it was a J.I. Jane joke. It was not that bad, and he exacerbated that entire situation. Clearly Jada was not happy with it, and he took it way too far. And I don't know what happened, because he was clearly laughing, so I don't know if it was like I'ma pretend to laugh and then walk up to you and then slap you and then be pissed off after. I don't know what was going on in Will Smith's mind, but there's a time and place for everything, and that was not it. And if this was like some attempt by Will Smith to prove his masculinity to Jada or to the world, like given like the nature of their relationship, that was an epic fail, because I don't think anyone who is mature, any grown man with like an expected level of maturity would go up on stage and just smack somebody because they said something they did not appreciate. A lot of people say things about me that I don't appreciate. I get over it. But yeah, that's enough of that. Let me know how you feel about King Richard if you watched it. If not, again, go on HBO Max. It's on there right now. And please hit that like button. It goes a long way in helping me out. Subscribe if you have not already. And I will catch you in the next video next Friday. See you then. Bye-bye.